Okay, hey CC, my name is Grace Taylor. I'm currently a senior here. Really wish we could be doing these in person this year, but we have this good enough alternative. So thanks for being here. All you'll need is a mat, a block, a pillow, something like that if you'll need it, and then a strap or like a rolled up towel. So let's get into it. We're going to start on the mat in a comfortable seated position. I'm going to elect to sit on my heels. You can choose to just sit cross-legged or whatever feels comfortable for you. We're just going to start by taking some deep breaths. Inhale, hands come overhead. Slight back bend. Exhale, hands into heart center. Inhale, hands come overhead. Exhale into heart center. Inhale, hands come overhead, right arm dropped, left arm comes overhead, gaze goes upwards, targeting the side body. And on the next exhale, left arm comes down, right arm switches, gaze goes up. And exhale, hand comes down. Inhale, hand comes overhead, slight back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale once more, hands come overhead, slight back bend. Exhale, hands come to heart center, and child's pose. So for this pose, we're either going to keep our knees wide to target the hips or keep our knees together to target the lower back, whatever your body's needing. You can place your forehead to the ground to signal your nervous system to start calming down. I like to rotate the shoulders, give the torso a nice little twist, but really any motion or lack thereof that your body's needing or wants is good. And on the next inhale, we're going to go into a tabletop position, so shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. And we're going to inhale, roll the shoulders back, belly draws down, gaze goes up. Exhale, invert, belly comes up, head goes down. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, right arm comes up, twisting the torso, shoulders stack on top of one another, and exhale, thread that right arm underneath the left, keeping the hips over the knees the best you can. Right arm goes overhead. If you need a variation, you can bring your hand to your right hip crease. Inhale, hand comes overhead. Exhale, lifting the arm up and placing it down into tabletop. Left arm this side. Left arm comes up, shoulders stack, torso twists, and exhale, threading that left arm underneath the right, hips stay over knees the best you can. Right arm comes overhead. Accessing that variation if wanted. And hand on an inhale, bringing that right arm close to forehead. Left arm comes up, shoulders stack, and exhale, tabletop. Here we're just going to walk the hands on forward, finding our puppy pose. The goal of this pose is to reach your chest and your chin to the ground. I can't do that right now. It's okay if you can't. That's just the intention. And now bring your hands into prayer pose and bring your thumbs into the middle of into the back of your neck. Exhale, letting that go, walking your hands to find tabletop again, and we'll access our first downward dog of the day. So we're going to take these in micro movements. So with our palms fully and our fingers fully extended, we're going to bring our palms onto the ground, bringing the finger pads and the knuckles onto the ground, making contact with the mat. We're going to keep those arms strong with our inner elbows facing each other, and an external rotation of the shoulders. We're going to come on forward to a plank position just for a moment. Bring those hips up and back, finding a slight bend in the knee if your hamstrings are tight like mine are. And beginning to walk this pose out, straightening one leg, bending the other a little bit more, finding a twist in your hips. Really feeling into this pose. We're going to inhale, lift that right leg up, and bring it to in between our hands. And we're just going to do a low lunge, making sure that the knee doesn't go past the toes, but stays relatively over the heels. And we're going to drop that back knee, untuck the back toes, and lift that arm up. And back down. Up, framing the foot, tucking the back toes, lifting the back knee, and bringing that right leg back for a plank pose just for a moment, downward dog. Inhale, lifting the left leg now, bending the knee and bringing it in between the hands. Low lunge, checking alignment, untucking those back toes, dropping the back knee, and lifting the right arm up this time. Exhale, drop it to back thigh. Inhale, back up. Exhale, framing the foot, lifting the back knee, tucking the toes, and coming into a plank position just for a moment. Downward dog. Here we're going to bend the knees, shift the gaze forward in between the hands, and step, hop, or float to the top of your mat, forward fold. I'm going to keep a bend in my knees. My hamstrings are rather tight. I'm going to hold on to opposite elbows and ragdoll. Exhale, let that go. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulders roll back, up, down, and together. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, straight back, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, planting the hands, stepping or hopping back to plank, chaturanga, knees, chest, chin, and cobra or baby cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Okay, now we're going to go into some sun salves now that we have the motions down. Inhale, getting ready to step, hop, or float to the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming to a standing position. Exhale, and down to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step or jump back to your flow and knees, chest, chin, chaturanga or baby cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward, step, hop or jump, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose, standing position. Exhale, hands come through center. Forward fold, planting the hands, stepping back to our flow. Chaturanga, cobra, and downward dog. I like to make my breaths audible sometimes. Feel free to join me. Inhale, lifting the left leg up, or the right leg, I'm sorry. Exhale, bending the knee and bringing it in between the hands and coming up into a crescent lunge. For this lunge, we're going to keep our hips facing forward as if our hip bones were car lights and we want them to be where we're going, which is forward. We want our knee bent close to a 90-degree angle over the heel. And if the hips are starting to like open up, bend the knee so that the back knee, so that the hips may point forward. Inhale, hands come overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands come overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, right arm comes up, back and down to reach left thigh, and slight back bend. Revolved crescent lunge. Inhale, hands come up through center. Exhale, warrior two. Now our front leg is where it was. Our hips are now facing to the side and our back foot is perpendicular to our front. The alignment should look as though the heel is reaching the back arch of the foot. Inhale, hands reach forward as if someone's pulling on those front fingertips, and as soon as you start to feel a crunch in your abdominal, drop that right hand, left arm goes up, extended side angle, making sure that you're bringing tension to the hips, using your torque of your hands to open up your hips a little bit more. And exhale back through warrior two. Inhale to prepare, exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, straightening that front leg. Now we're in triangle pose. I like to shift my hips back and forth to get a little space in there for what's coming next. Okay, inhale, hands come out straight as if someone's pulling on those front fingertips. Keep going, crunch and open up. Extended side triangle. Want to make sure that you're keeping a micro bend in that front knee to avoid locking of the knee. And inhale, using your abs, coming back through center, and exhale, reverse triangle. Hips pop forward. Inhale, back through center, exhale, windmilling the hands down to frame the front foot, back foot, tucks the toes, and we've been here before, go through your flow. Meeting in downward dog. Okay, we're going to do it again on the other side. Y'all stay where you are. Move around. Inhale, lifting the left leg now. Bending the knee and bringing it on through center. And we're going to come up to our crescent. Remembering the hips. Inhale, hands come up through center. Exhale, hands come through center. Inhale, hands come overhead. Exhale, hands come through center. Inhale, lifting that right hand up now to meet the left thigh. And slight back bend, revolved crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come through center. And inhale, moving out into warrior two. Getting strong here, bringing the scapulas down and together in the back. And hands come out. Fingers can be dancing if you like them to. Inhale as if someone's grabbing those front fingers, minding the hips. Keep going until you feel a crunch. Extended side angle. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, reverse warrior. Winding the hips. Inhale, back through center. And straightening that front leg. Triangle pose. Fingertips come out and extend. And you know what it is. As if someone's grabbing those front arms. Keep going, keep going. Extended side triangle. And if you need your block, your pillow, whatever you have to help you out with this one, please feel free to grab them. This block is, or this extra prop is for you. So just listening to the body. And on your next inhale, using your abs to come out through center. Exhale, hip comes forward, back bend ensues, reverse triangle. On your next inhale, coming up through center. Exhale, windmilling the hands down to frame the front foot. And we've been here before, coming into our plank just for a moment. Chaturanga, cobra, downward dog. Taking a couple moments here to recognize how your pose has changed. Trying to alleviate pressure from the upper trapezius into the lower traps by externally rotating the shoulders. Now we're going to flow through that sequence. I'm going to stay here. Y'all can just follow my voice or your own breath. Inhale, lifting the right leg up. Exhale, sweeps through. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, revolved crescent. Inhale, back up through center. Moving out into warrior two. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale for a moment. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, back up through center, straightening that front leg triangle. Inhale, coming into our extended side angle. Exhale to ground. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, reverse triangle. Inhale, back up through center, windmilling the hands down to frame the front foot and going through your flow. Meeting in downward dog. Good job, team. Okay, and on the other side. Inhale, lifting the left leg. Exhale, bringing it on through center. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, revolved triangle. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, back up through center. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, triangle. Exhale, extended side. Inhale, back up through center. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, back up through center. Exhale, windmill the hands, framing the front foot, and you guessed it, flow. Good job, team. And inhaling, bending the knees, shifting your gaze on forward, step, hop, or jump, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands come on up through center, and mountain pose. Hands come to a point with our fingers. And exhale, squeezing the bum, avoiding lower contraction in the lower back. Micro back bow bend. And inhale, back up through center. We're going to do that one more time. Making sure you're really squeezing the bum to avoid any compression in the lower back. Inhale, hands come up through center, squeeze, and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay. Inhale, hands come overhead, finding that same finger point, and exhale, hips shift to the side, and your hands shift to the opposite side. Gaze goes up. Inhale, back up through center. Exhale, other side now. Inhale, back up through center. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, hands sweep on the ground to a chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, and chair pose. Exhale, hands sweep down and back, as if you're holding a block behind your back with your hands, pressing those together, rolling the shoulders back. And inhale, mountain pose, right leg comes up, 90-degree bend in 3 places, the hips, the knees, and the ankle. We're just going to test our balance today, see where we're at. Lengthening the spine, making sure the hips are level as this one likes to come up. Exhale, hands come out, and we're going to find a chair pose, a tree pose. So tree pose can happen in 3 places. If your balance isn't quite there today, if you're not as experienced as a yogi, we're glad you're here. You can always use your toes as like a little tripod, finding just like a little bit more weight in the left leg. Or you can put your foot somewhere that's not the knee, so on the calf or the upper thigh. It's different every day, so if you could do this pose yesterday and can't do it today, that's fine. It means your body's working. And we're just going to extend up through the spine, trying to lengthen there. Taking a couple moments, taking inventory of our body and our balance. Exhale, hands come in through heart center. Inhale, shifting the knee on forward to where we started. And exhale, testing the balance, warrior 3. And just dropping that right leg about 2 to 3 feet behind the left. I'm going to straighten up here, finding a distance between our feet this way that allows for our hips to be facing forward. It's going to be different for everybody, and that's totally fine. Inhale, hands come up through heart center. Exhale, slight back bend, remembering the clench in the buttocks. And on the next exhale, drooping our body over our front leg, minding the hips, making sure they're still painting forward, If you need to, shifting your feet to the side, and with the intention of bringing the knee to the nose, but having compassion for our bodies. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale. Now we're going to be facing to the side. So our feet should be facing in one direction, and our hips should be facing in that same direction. Our toes should be like a little bit in from our heels. And we're going to lift our hands out. We can play with distance from the feet as always. And with a flat back, like that halfway lift thing, we're just going to go on forward, finding a wide leg, cross-arita, forward fold. And I'm just going to swing side to side here, trying to loosen up my hamstrings, keeping a micro bend in each knee to protect the joints. Exhale, hands place underneath face for halfway lift. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, placing the left hand underneath the nose, right arm comes up, stacking the shoulders, gaze goes upwards. And we're going to switch those hands out. And forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands come out all the way up. And this time we're going to do star pose. So instead of our toes being in from our heels, they're going to go out. Hands going to go up. Exhale, hands come in through heart center, knees go out, minding the bum, making sure that it's not like your back isn't arched, but it's like tucked a comfortable amount. And inhale, back up to star. Exhale, horse or goddess. Goddess would be this, but variation goddess. Inhale, star. Exhale, horse. Inhale, star, and exhale, horse to stay. You can put your hands on your thighs and bring one shoulder forward, and then the other for a nice abdominal twist. And coming into horse, just as a transition, inhale, star. And we're going to shift our feet so that we're in that same position that we started in, with both toes facing forward. And we are going to frame our front foot, our left foot, and you guessed it, we're going back to our flow. Exhale, downward dog. Okay, and inhale, bending the knees, shifting your gaze forward, step, hop, or jump, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward folds. Inhale, chair pose. Making sure that your bum isn't like, your back isn't arched, but it's not like that either. And just finding like a neutral spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, and sweeping those arms back as if you're holding a block behind your back. Inhale, mountain pose, left leg lifts this time. Stay over here. 90-degree angle in 3 places, just taking inventory of our balance, lengthening through the spine, making sure our hips are even, and going into a tree pose, trying to find a similar variation that you found on the other side, but making sure that your knee is not being pressed by your foot directly. Again, lengthening through the spine, really reaching up with that finger point thing. And exhale, pushing out, finding a strong back, and coming through our little bend knee, and going through Warrior 3, just as a transition, just to take inventory, and coming back into our little, I don't know what you call this, but yeah, your hips should be facing forward. Playing with distance between your feet in order to make sure that your hips can go forward. Inhale, hands come overhead, squeezing out the bum, back bend, and exhale, forward fold. Draping your body over your knee and binding the hips, making sure that it doesn't go like this, but that your hips are facing forward. Here would be a great place to use your block or block variant, depending on what you have at home. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands come over the head. And exhale to have our feet facing forward for a Crescent. Okay, so hands come out to the side, and on the exhale, drop down, flat back. And here I'm going to widen my stance a little bit more because we're going to be doing some spider lunges or prepping the body to get comfortable with spider lunges. So at first it's just going to be slight bends, straight, just going from side to side. If this is as far as you get right now, that's excellent. We're just trying to get the body a little bit comfortable with this hip movement. And for us more experienced yogis, we can go straight into our spider lunge and move on to the other side. Just trying to get a little bit of motion, a little bit of twist in the upper body, and a little bit of opening in the hips. For so many things, including yoga, it's about taking what resonates, taking what you want, and leaving the rest. So if this pose is not helping you, then don't do it. Okay, and back on through center. Gonna find a little bit of a forward fold. For our more experienced yogis, we're going to go into a headstand. And for our new yogis, you're more than welcome to try up against a wall. I'm just going to go through the fun playtime. Okay, so we're going to interlace our fingers like this, as if a basket for like right here is where we're going to be putting it, or like right here, where like my butt is, as if I'm holding onto my butt. And then we're going to keep our elbows shoulder width apart, and how you can tell if it's shoulder width is just grabbing onto opposite elbows. So like that's the distance that we want. So sometimes people like to put that there and then go into it. And here we're just going to start rocking our hips on forward until we feel comfortable. Ooh, I'm not very strong today. And how we tend to get into these poses really defines whether or not we're going to continue to get into these poses. So if you're having an off day like me, or just some trouble getting into the pose from Crossarita, we can just start on the mat, and we'll just go into it a different way this time. So same alignment keys, but here we're just going to bring our hips over our shoulders, using our abs, trying to get up. If that's not accessible to you today, bending one knee, coming in, bending the other, and maybe just sticking it out here. Some of my favorite parts of yoga is the playtime, which is why I tend to allow for it. We're going to meet in child's pose when you feel ready. We're going to spend about a minute in child's pose in order to allow for any sort of yogi play that you may want, but we're not. And then we're just going to go into like the yin stuff, so like the more of like stretching oriented than motion oriented. For you upside downers, you players, we're just going to spend a couple breaths in child's pose just to signal to the body that we're going to start slowing down here. And inhale, we're going to go to tabletop position. And exhale, downward dog, just for a minute. We're going to lift that leg up, that right leg up. We're going to bend it, and we're going to do some movement with the hips. If you're feeling wild today, you can go ahead and do your wild thing, or your waterfall, whatever you call it. And we're going to go back into three-legged dog and downward dog. Lifting the left leg, bending it, finding some motion in the hips. And if you're feeling wild, going into your wild thing. Back into three-legged dog. And downward dog. Lifting the right leg up now and bringing it to the top right corner of your mat. You're going to make sure that your knee is at a larger than 90-degree angle. And we're going to go into lizard pose. So you can keep this pose active. I'm going to keep it passive, but active would be keeping your knee off the ground, feet touched, or toes tucked. And then using your block, your books, your pillow, if you have it, if you want it, finding some sort of comfort in this pose. Now for this pose, my brows do not need to be furrowed. My jaw does not need to be clenched. My hands do not need to be active. Trying to take some of the exertion out of the pose that's not needed. And inhale, bringing our body back up to right side up. Gently, we're going to roll back on that knee and find a halfway split. I haven't tried this in a while, but if there are any yogis who are in the practice of hurdlers, now would be your chance. And we're going to tuck those back toes, lift the back leg, using our right elbow. We're going to help that leg come back to a downward dog. It's a fun little transition. Inhale, lifting the left leg. Exhale, bringing it to the top left part of our mat or space, and then calling on that prop if you need it. And again, finding some comfort in this, what can be uncomfortable pose. Acknowledging that each side is different, and the sensations might be different from left to right. Gently shifting back onto that right knee for a halfway split. And coming on forward, I'm going to try hurdler pose again. If you guys want to, you're more than welcome. And okay, tucking that back feet, and with the help of your left elbow, coming back into a downward dog. Okay. Inhale, right leg lifts, bending the knee, bringing the right knee behind the right wrist and the right toes and foot behind the left wrist. So if you're finding that your body's coming over to your right hip, you can use pillow, block, textbook, whatever you have to put that under your right hip. And then if this pose feels good, if you like being up and awake in your swan, that's excellent. If you'd like to be a resting swan today, feel free to go on down. If you're into king pigeon pose, you can always go for that back bend. Sometimes that feels nice. But I'm going to go on into this. If you're feeling any sort of discomfort in that front knee, making sure that your foot is actively being pushed back in order to protect and preserve those front joints. And we're going to go onto that right hip, bringing that left leg up and around, and finding a box pose. Okay, so for this box pose, my hips are very closed today. We're going to put our left heel on top of our right knee, and in attempts to bring our left knee on top of our right heel. I clearly cannot do that today, and that is absolutely fine. We're just going to stay here for just a little bit. And now bringing that left leg back and around just to go through to our downward dog. Inhale, lifting that right leg up and bringing it to find swan on the opposite side. If you stayed up in this pose, try to do that this time. If you went down in your pose, try to do that this time. If you did a king pigeon pose, try to do that this time. And going on to our left hip, just to bring that right leg up and around to find a box on this side now. I'm going to bring that right leg back and around one more time just to go through swan so that you can go to downward dog. Here we're going to bend our knees, look forward. Last time, step, hop, or float. Half or downward, forward fold, backward, forward fold. And we're just going to bring our hips onto the ground, grab our strap or rolled up towel, and we're going to bring our right foot on back with us to the mat. I like to do small circles here. I find that that is the best way for this pose to do the most work for my body. But if you'd like to keep it stagnant, then definitely do that. And with our left hand, we're going to bring that strap onto our left side with our shoulders still on the ground. We don't want it to be as much as an abdominal twist. We want it to focus on the hips, so try to keep your hips relatively on the ground. And with our right hand now, we're going to bring that strap onto our right side, making sure that our hips, both buns stay on the ground. It's like if you start to pop up, you know you've gone too far. Try to keep a micro bend in that knee to preserve the joints too. And back up through center. Do my last little circles. And bringing the left leg up, switching out the feet, right leg goes down. And with our right hand, we're going to bring that left leg over to the right side, cross body, and again, targeting the hips, not the abdominal. And back up through center, switch those straps out with the hands, and going on to the left side. Again, if your right hip pops up, you know you've gone too far. Remembering the micro bend in the left leg, left knee. And back up through center, I'm going to do my last little circles. Dropping the strap or towel or whatever you used off to the side. We're going to bring that right knee in for a little hug, bringing it onto the right side a little bit so that it sits next to your abdominal. Grabbing your left palm onto your right knee, right arm goes out to the side, and bringing your right knee onto the left side until your shoulder starts to pop up, and then you know you've gone too far, so bring that right shoulder back onto the ground. And then I like to shift my gaze onto the right side for an even deeper abdominal twist. Sometimes I feel this pose more than others, but the way that it was described to me is like wringing the stomach. Feels really good. And bring that right knee in for a hug. Letting it go, and then bring the left knee in, hugging that baby in. And then with your right palm to left knee, bringing that left knee onto the right side. Right arm goes out, shoulders, making sure that shoulders are on the ground. Shoulder pops up, you know you've gone too far. Gaze goes to left side. And coming in to give that left knee a hug. Bring that right leg in. And we're going to go to happy baby. We want to make sure that our tailbone remains on the ground. So if you can't reach your feet without your tailbone coming up, try your underneath your thighs. And we're just going to sit in happy baby. You can do ninja baby, bending one leg, straightening the other. Any last movements on your back that you need before we go into Savasana. And the reason why yoga teachers are really into Savasana is because, as it was explained to me, it's the most important pose because your body feels the effects of the work you just put into it. So it's just important, arguably the most important pose. A lesson on productivity. Okay, and letting those go. Taking up the space that feels comfortable for you. You can spread your arms out wide, your legs out wide, or you can keep yourself in a little bit closer. You can keep one hand on the heart, one on the belly, or by your side, or crossed. Anything that allows you to be present for the next few minutes. Savasana, please know that that is your decision to make. If you're ready to move on, starting to bring some motion into the toes, the fingertips. Maybe twirling the ankles and the wrists. Bringing that motion from the fingertips into the center of the body. Laying on the left side for energy and the right for rest. Into a fetal position. Keeping your eyes closed, your gaze inwards. Using the opposite hand of the side you're on to push yourself up. Come to a seated position. Straightening up the spine, rolling your shoulders. I'm going to invite you to do one Om with me. Inhale, hands come overhead. Exhale, Om. Om. Prayer hands come into third eye. Bringing in some appreciation for yourself, your body, for being here. And you could have been doing anything else. And bow to seal the practice. Namaste. Thank you guys for being here today. I would love to hear any reactions that you had to this class in the comments. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day.